This video was made in collaboration with NARUTOPEDIA. For more information, check out the link in the description. The Life of Karin from Naruto. Karin is a subordinate of Orochimaru, a former kunoichi of Kusagakure, and a member of the Uzumaki clan. She assisted Orochimaru in his experiments and was left in charge as warden of his Southern Hideout while he was away. She was later recruited into Sasuke Uchiha's group, Taka, which was initially called Hebi at the time of its creation. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Karin. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Background. In the anime, Karin and her mother were allowed to take refuge in Kusagakure on the condition that her mother healed the village's wounded under watch by Zosui. After the village suffered many casualties following a surprise attack, her mother upheld her duties and healed the wounded at the Kusagakure hospital, where she died after transferring too much chakra to the wounded. Immediately afterwards, the duty was passed on to Karin, much to her disapproval. Sometime after becoming a genin, Karin took part in the Chunin exams held in Konoha on a team. During the second phase, Karin lost track of her teammates and was attacked by a large bear. She was saved by Sasuke Uchiha, who was disappointed to find she had an Earth Scroll as well, but she was able to catch a good glimpse of him as he smiled at her. Her team later failed as they didn't make it to the tower with both scrolls by the 5th day. Soon after, during a war, Karin sensed a huge group of people approaching the village she was staying in and hid while they attacked. After the village was burned down and everyone was killed, she was approached by Orochimaru, who asked her how she survived, leading him to bring her back to Ōtsutsuki. During her time with Orochimaru, Karin's healing abilities were studied by Orochimaru and Kabuto, with the latter successfully being able to replicate it. After being involved in experiments with Jūgo and Kimimaro, Orochimaru made her in charge of the Southern Hideout. In the anime, when Karin saw Sasuke for the first time since joining Orochimaru, she didn't realize he was the boy that rescued her during the Chunin exams. When the two formally met, Karin assisted Sasuke with recapturing 118 test subjects from one of Orochimaru's hideouts, which they succeeded in doing. Sometime later, she was sent to the Eastern Hideout to deliver a vial to help further research on Suigetsu. Soon after Sasuke completed his task, Suigetsu escaped his chamber, leading to Karin taking action to hunt him down and join Sasuke in an effort to recapture him. When they found Suigetsu, she attempted to persuade him into coming back to the hideout, which led to him attacking her, and she repelled him with her chakra chain. After knocking him out, they brought him back to the hideout and parted ways. Itachi Pursuit Mission. Sasuke recruited Karin as a member of Hebi. While Sasuke admitted that she might be troublesome sometimes, he also noted that her special abilities made her useful. While Sasuke tried to recruit Karin, she tried to seduce him. Once the team was completed, Sasuke sent Hebi out in multiple directions to try and locate Itachi Uchiha. While on the search, Karin passed Sakura Haruno, although the two did not acknowledge each other. After Deidara's suicide explosion, the rest of the team regrouped and took Sasuke to an inn to recover. When Karin went out for supplies, she sensed the 8-man squad approaching and warned the team. It was her plan to use Sasuke's old clothing as a means to distract the squad from catching them. Fated battle between brothers. When they finally got back on Itachi's trail, Karin stayed behind with Suigetsu, Jūgo, and Kisame as Sasuke went ahead to battle Itachi. Pain's Assault. Hebi, now renamed Taka, later began working with Akatsuki. They were sent to Kumogakure to capture the 8-tails Jinchūriki. When they found him, Karin stood on the sidelines and watched the others fight Killer Bee. When Sasuke was mortally wounded fighting Killer Bee, Karin immediately rushed to pull the dying Sasuke out of the fight, as Suigetsu and Jūgo kept Killer Bee busy. She pulled the swords out of Sasuke's body and exposed her right arm, riddled with numerous bite marks. She then told Sasuke to bite her arm, and as he did, her heel bite healed his wounds. As Killer Bee got bored and attempted to leave, Karin used her mind's eye of the Kagura to locate him. Killer Bee then used his demonic chakra to charge at her, Jūgo, and Suigetsu, but Jūgo rocketed them away to safety. After Sasuke was yet again critically wounded by Killer Bee, Karin insisted on reviving Sasuke again. She was stopped by Jūgo, who claimed she didn't have enough chakra to save Sasuke again, so Karin watches as Jūgo transfers his flesh to Sasuke to heal him. When Killer Bee fully transformed into the 8-tails, Sasuke used Amaterasu to quell it. Karin quickly moved all of her teammates out of the way of one of Killer Bee's tentacles, but this resulted in her being hit by one, and some of the black flames spread to Karin's cloak. Sasuke used his Mangekyo Sharingan to put them out. Karin was carried to safety by Jūgo. While the team was recovering, Karin briefly put her hair in a ponytail. She noticed that something was wrong with Sasuke, but as he brushed it off, she detected an enemy outside their base, which Sasuke and Jūgo went to investigate. 5 Kage Summit. After Taka recovered, they moved out for Konoha. Along the way, they're stopped by Tobi, who convinced Sasuke to go after Danzo Shimura at the Kage Summit. When they arrived in the Land of Iron, they decided to wait until the meeting was over before they attack. Zetsu soon revealed their presence, and the Kage mobilized against Taka. When the battle got underway, Karin noticed that Sasuke's chakra was now darker than when in his Cursed Seal level 2 state. When the 4th Raikage arrived, he instructs C to locate and eliminate Karin, Taka's sensory ninja. Karin hid her chakra to avoid detection, and once C was defeated by Sasuke, she again began to look for Danzo's location. By the time Sasuke is able to elude the Raikage, Karin had found Danzo. She informs Sasuke that Jūgo and Suigetsu are still alive, but he said to leave them and had her lead him to Danzo. Danzo fled as soon as they arrived, and Sasuke was forced to fight the 5th Mizukage and the 3rd Tsuchikage before he could follow. During the brief confrontation, Karin grew concerned with Sasuke's deteriorating chakra levels. When his chakra signature disappeared, she broke into tears, believing him to be dead, the Tsuchikage turning his sight on her. Tobi soon appeared with Sasuke in tow before he sent them both to a different realm so she could heal his wounds. He later returned and released them in front of Danzo so that Sasuke could fight him. Karin observed the battle and tried to determine how Danzo was able to survive a series of apparently fatal injuries. She immediately ruled out Genjutsu or a clone technique, and eventually noticed that the Sharingan embedded in Danzo's arm closed one by one as the battle progressed. Coupling this observation with frequent descents in Danzo's chakra levels, she learned the secret of his technique. She told Sasuke about it and advised that he keep his distance until Izanagi expired. Once Sasuke mortally wounded Danzo, Karin healed his injuries. Danzo then took Karin hostage as he refused to die. Karin called to Sasuke for help, but Sasuke stabbed her through the chest in order to pierce Danzo's heart. Sasuke simply commented that if she can be taken hostage so easily, she was now only a burden to him. Karin collapsed, and Tobi suggested Sasuke finish her off since she had some knowledge of their plans. As Sasuke walked towards Karin, she has a flashback of her first encounter with him at the Chunin exams and remembered his smile. She took one last look at Sasuke, wishing to see his smile one more time before he was about to kill her, but he was interrupted by the arrival of Sakura. Sakura insisted that she wanted to be with Sasuke no matter what, leading Karin to realize that Sakura too loved Sasuke. Sasuke ordered Sakura to prove her loyalty by killing Karin. This, however, was a lie to make Sakura drop her guard. As Sasuke prepared to kill Sakura, Karin managed to mutter a warning before Kakashi Hatake arrived to counter the attack. After it became clear that not even his words could alter Sasuke's motives, he ordered Sakura to take Karin away from the area and heal her enough to talk. While still barely conscious, Karin looked up at a sobbing Sakura and pleaded for her to hold in her tears while Sakura saved Karin's life. A tear fell down Karin's face as she sensed a further change in Sasuke's chakra, stating that Sasuke is no longer the person that Sakura once knew. As she asked Sakura what she will do, Sakura didn't respond, and while emotionally unstable, returned to the fight despite Karin's warnings. Later, when Sasuke prepared to fight with Naruto, Karin, sensing that Sasuke is going to overexert himself again, dwelled on the fact that she was only able to heal him a little from his earlier skirmishes, before catching herself in that thought. In light of the fact of everything that Sasuke had done to her, Karin decided to herself that she was now done with Sasuke. After Sasuke left, Kakashi told her that she was coming with them to Konoha. Karin resigned herself to her fate as she had no choice, being warned by Kakashi not to try anything. As Karin left with them, she made a special note of Naruto's character, apparently hearing of him before. 4th Shinobi World War, Countdown. Later, she is interrogated by Ibiki Marino in Konoha to get information on Akatsuki, Sasuke, and Kabuto Yakashi. Though she initially wove a tale in which she was a victim of both Orochimaru, who she claimed had forced her into hard labor, and Sasuke, who had unreasonably demanded too much from her, Ibiki saw through it immediately, and Karin switched tracks, insisting to be fed a bowl of deep-fried pork cutlets before she would talk. While the other two fussed over making preparations, however, Ibiki remained stone-faced. Karin later noted that all the people in Konohagakure seemed to be all cheerful and warm, just like Naruto. 4th Shinobi World War, Climax. Having been jailed for some time after the interrogation, Karin talks to a portrait of Sasuke, first stating that he was cool and then immediately throwing down the picture and cursing him for trying to kill her. This erratic behavior seemingly has been going on for a while, bewildering the guards who believe her to be suffering post-traumatic stress disorder from Sasuke's betrayal. This, however, is revealed to be a ruse, as Karin uses the guard's distraction to pry open the portrait with a hidden blade in her glasses, revealing a lockpick set. After escaping from the jail, Karin noticed Sasuke's chakra in the village and couldn't believe that it would be him. She followed the signal just as Taka, Orochimaru, and the Hokage prepared to leave for the battlefield, attacking a fleeing Suigetsu over what had happened to her. Sasuke's apology for attacking her was met with a mix of anger and giddy appreciation as she noticed Orochimaru among the group. In the end, she found herself unable to stay angry at Sasuke and forgave him. Karin, Suigetsu, and Orochimaru later arrived at the battlefield where the 5 Kage were, with the latter commenting on Tsunade's condition. Karin was then ordered by Orochimaru to assist Katsuyu in healing Tsunade by having the 5th bite her. However, Karin hesitated because she didn't like anyone other than Sasuke to benefit from biting her. Suigetsu then proved Karin was really interested in Sasuke and pointed out that she had already had many bite marks on her even before meeting with Sasuke. This then led to another brief spat between the two, which was almost immediately stopped by Orochimaru after he had threatened them with his snakes. While healing Tsunade in that state, Karin noted that if Tsunade did not stop biting her soon, she herself might turn old. She later departed with Orochimaru and Suigetsu to the battlefield. Birth of the Ten Tails Jinchūriki. Upon arrival, Karin is almost immediately consumed by her obsession with Sasuke, so much so that she dismissed Suigetsu's observation of the Ten Tails before catching herself and agreeing with him that the recovery of the Shinobi was paramount. While Orochimaru and Taka are hiding from Tobi's giant wooden statue and thinking up a strategy, Karin became distraught upon sensing Sasuke's critical condition, figuring that with no intervention, Sasuke would die. Determined to save Sasuke, Karin joined the battle, manifesting chains to destroy part of the statue. After being impaled by Tobi's technique, she bit herself in order to heal. Grabbed by Jūgo, who removed the stakes, she noted that she was okay, but feared they were too late as she could no longer sense Sasuke's chakra. As they rushed towards Sasuke's location, Karin sensed a chakra of someone she didn't recognize and alerted her group. Moving even faster as she disregarded her own well-being, she rushed to Sasuke's aid. Upon reaching Sasuke, Karin discovered that the mysterious person was Kabuto, whose various modifications to himself made his chakra signature too different for Karin to recognize. Seeing Kabuto merging his being with Sasuke, she quickly became convinced that Kabuto harmed Sasuke. Kabuto calmly explained that he no longer desired Sasuke, rather he was healing the young Uchiha. To her shock, she began to sense Sasuke's chakra. Kabuto explained that his experience under the effects of Izanami made him rediscover himself and sought to correct his mistakes. Eventually, Kabuto succeeded in healing Sasuke, who quickly returned to his feet and was ready to resume the battle. Karin and the others present there besides Tobirama were later caught in Madara's Infinite Tsukiyomi. In the anime, her dream inside the Infinite Tsukiyomi showed Sasuke becoming the 6th Hokage and the village being attacked by her former allies from Kusagakure. When Karin was captured and forced to heal the others again by Zosui, she was saved and was suggested to have taken vengeance on the man for how he wronged her in the past. While Sasuke cradled the weakened Karin, she told the shinobi all she wanted was for him to smile. Kaguya Ōtsutsuki strikes. Ultimately, she and the rest of the world were freed from the Genjutsu by Naruto and Sasuke after they ended the war. Sasuke Shinden, Book of Sunrise. Karin meets with Sasuke for the first time in a few years since the war ended. He arrives at Orochimaru's hideout to gather information on the Dark Thunder group, but doesn't stay long enough to speak with her. As she talks with Suigetsu and Jūgo on why Sasuke refuses to permanently settle down in Konoha, Karin suggests that Sasuke possessing the Sharingan and Rinnegan earns him enemies, and he is avoiding the village to protect it. When Sasuke leaves, Karin worries about him and looks at their Team Taka photo, wondering if she should make a copy for Sakura. New Era. 4 years after the war, while Sakura Uchiha traveled alongside Sasuke on his journey, Karin delivered their baby, whom they named Sarada. At some point during Sarada's infancy, Karin gave the child her original glasses to wear. Sarada Uchiha Arc. 11 years later, upon learning that Suigetsu used an umbilical cord which he thought belonged to Karin for a DNA test to help Sarada uncover the identity of her birth mother, Karin was furious. She informed him that there was no possibility that she was Sarada's birth mother because she helped Sakura deliver her daughter. She further elaborated that the umbilical cord was from Sarada and Sakura, that Sakura had traveled with Sasuke during her pregnancy, and that she had helped with the delivery when Sakura had gone into labor. When Suigetsu asked if that meant she was over Sasuke, she was silent for a moment, and said all that mattered to her was that Sasuke was happy and that she had become friends with Sakura. Karin then told him he owed Sarada an apology and should start by giving her a new pair of glasses, since she seemed to have outgrown her current ones. Mitsuki's Disappearance Arc. In the anime, when Boruto Uzumaki confronted Orochimaru about the seeming betrayal of Mitsuki to Konohagakure, Orochimaru sent Karin to aid Sarada, who was acting as a decoy to the Konoha nin watching over Orochimaru. Karin quickly saved Sarada, disguised as Mitsuki, from her capture. She was pleased to see that Sarada recognized her and that the glasses she had given Sarada suited her. She then took Sarada's place as Mitsuki so Sarada could join Boruto. After making sure Sarada made it, Karin dropped her disguise to the guards, quickly escaping in a smokescreen. Jūgo Arc. In the anime, when Jūgo abruptly left the base to deal with an outbreak of cursed seals infecting wildlife, Orochimaru tasked Suigetsu and Karin with retrieving him. They ultimately encountered Sumire Kage, whose Nue attacked them abruptly. After Suigetsu overexerted himself to knock her and her summoning out, they were approached by Team 7, who revealed that Jūgo was apprehended by the Land of Rivers researchers. While Karin treated Sumire, she voiced her joy at seeing Sarada again, saying that she has come to view her as family. When Sumire regained her consciousness, she explained that 2 assailants who captured Wasabi Izuno and Namida Suzumeno had special collars that let them harness cursed seals of their very own. Realized that this duo was working with the Land of Rivers researchers, they concluded the outbreak must have been started by then. While Suigetsu insisted on just assaulting the enemies and taking Jūgo back by force, the others insisted that they had to be more cautious due to the innocent bystanders, as negative outcomes due to Suigetsu's and Karin's involvement could endanger Orochimaru's already dubious truce with the world. Karin and Sarada acted as diversions to draw out the assailants while their allies infiltrated the enemy base. While initially working, the enemies quickly saw through the ruse and split up, with Sasami going further to face Karin and Sarada while Momo returned to the base. Once transformed, Sasami quickly began making sport of her opponents, treating them as prey. Karin's sensory prowess let her follow her movements enough to defend. However, when Sasami managed to land a powerful blow on Sarada, Karin immobilized Sasami with her chakra chains long enough for Sarada to take some of Karin's chakra. This let Sarada deliver a devastating punch that knocked Sasami out and destroyed her cursed seal collar. She complimented Sarada's skills, comparing her to her parents. While on the way back to the village, they changed course when they realized the wild geese were about to start migrating, spreading the cursed seal infection. Karin and Sarada struggled to keep the infected geese from migrating, requesting Team 15's help when they arrived by the lake. While Jūgo defeated Tosaka and later fought Nue and Boruto, Karin considered the possibility of having to kill the birds to prevent the cursed seal from spreading. She didn't think Sarada could do it, but she took the responsibility onto herself, as she was part of the team assigned to the mission. After Boruto managed to cause Jūgo's transformation to recede, Mitsuki arrived with Konohamaru and Suigetsu, having acquired a serum to remove the infection. Suigetsu consumed it and merged with the lake to rain it over the birds. Karin left with Jūgo and Suigetsu, having taken a powerless Tosaka as a prisoner, and was teased by Suigetsu over her concern for Sarada. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.